I had no intention initially of growing grass for a living. I started working at Fairview Country Club in the late 70s, early 80s as a bartender. And I there met Bob Alonzi, who was the superintendent, obviously at Fairview at the time. Developed a friendship with him, started working on the golf course, seemed like a good fit. Bob got me interested in it as a possible career, got me to go to UMass turf school, and to this day he's my main mentor and a good friend. I applied for Tamarack in 1997, got the job, and I've been here ever since. The move for me paid off in more ways than I can express. And a lot of it's recent. It's near the tail end of my career. Tamarack at the time was considered the sleeper. It wasn't as if it was neglected, but certain things changed over the years that I think took away a lot of its really unique features. You know, the trees, it took a very long time, decades to get down. And with the hiring of Brian Snyder to do the master plan that was completed last year, the rest of them came down. I think the biggest impact that we didn't see coming was the severity of the fairway bunkers. The ball will flow freely into the bunker from the tee, but if you're in it, to get out of it is completely different now. The severity of those slopes are something that I don't think anybody expected to see. And that's changed the golf course. Green surrounds were completely redone in a similar fashion. The severity of the slopes averaged 35 to 40%, which is pretty significant. Flat bunkers, that was Charlie Banks. He brought all that back. Tees, we average now 4 to 5 different pads per hole. That is sort of a modernization of the game, to have different location of tees to address all different types of handicaps. It was a wonderful project. I think it's ended up more meaningful than anyone thought possible. I like to train from within, and that approach has been very successful with developing the crew as we needed to do. You know, I'm old school. I like to feed people to keep them happy. And I try to do as much for them as I can by having parties, by, you know, it's amazing what 5 dozen donuts can do to morale on a rainy day. It's a challenge to make a crew understand more than the paycheck and to have them buy into a program that is demanding. We have conditions that we have to meet for membership expectation, but yet, you know, the harder you push, the more you need to promise yourself that you're going to try to take care of your crew as much as possible. You need your assistants as managers to back you on that and take that into consideration as they address the crew on a day-to-day basis and try to make it all work from, you know, from the front door out sort of thing.
So when I first came here, you know, 7 years ago, I was just your regular bunker guy, you know, seasonal worker, coming in and coming out, doing my thing. And I was going to college at the same time, studying my economics. And he asked me if I would want to do this for a living. And I took a good month to think about it. But at the end of the day, I was like, yeah, you know, that'll really be something solid for me. And I thank him for that every day. He really knows how to lead a group, a crew. He keeps you honest, humble. And I think that's what really comes down to a good boss, someone where you can look up to and really trust at the end of the day.
You know, Jeff's here every day, putting in the same hours as we're all putting in, you know, and you see it. You're like, okay, this is how this happens. You know, Jeff has always pushed the right thing to do is very rarely the easy thing to do. And to just have a bunch of people that buy into that and, you know, are all on the same page and working towards the same goal. It's kind of what you get into the business for, I would say, for sure.
The main part of our job is problem solving. And even if it's just how do we get everything done in the time allotted, But he's very much in it with us, and he has such experience that, you know, he'll always come up with something. He's invaluable. He's, you know, the ultimate player's coach.
Do you think about your legacy, and what do you want your legacy to be?
Yeah, that's an emotionally loaded question. Yeah, I'm getting there, right? I'm getting there. I'm within my last few years here. And, you know, it starts off as a job, and then as time passes, and all of a sudden you're at a club for 30 years, and you tie in all of the different friendships with members. And, you know, the guy that was president at the time that hired me is still here. And you think about those relationships, and then you think about the progress that has happened here. It's a lot. You know, walking out of here for me it's certainly not going to be easy, but the day's coming when I'm going to get tired, right? And you just got to know that. They are beyond good to me here. They're very respectful. They're appreciative for the work we do year after year. I mean, legacy-wise, let's keep it real simple. I just want to make sure that when I'm out of here, I left it in, you know, much better shape than when I walked in. And I think myself and my team have done that. Yeah, walking out of here with my head up, right? No regret.